And what they do, well, first let me tell you a little bit about Marcus. Marcus is head of innovation previously for Bain Capital. Well, he was partner at Deloitte. He's on the board of Stanford University for disruptive technologies and digital cities. He's ex-CEO of XPRIZE and an extremely accomplished man. It's a pleasure to have him take these people, 15 years, 19 years old, 20 years old, and educate them about the metaverse. They're now world-class experts in the metaverse. Marcus, there you go. Take it away.
Is AV working? Can you guys hear me through this? Yes? Thanks, Judd. Is the volume loud enough for everybody? Okay. In California, we say AI is easy, but AV is hard. So here's the good news. Can we get the slides up on the, first of all, thanks for having us. My team and I, as Judd mentioned, we just got back from Geneva. We're working on something specifically with the ITU, which is a group agency of the United Nations that's responsible for standards around the internet and communication technologies. We'll get more into that in a second. What I'd like to share with you is, first of all, there's good news that 90% of this presentation will be in Spanish. The 10% that won't be is the piece that I'm going to do. Is it working? Okay, there it goes. The 10% that won't be in Spanish is the portion that I'm going to do, but my team, we spent the whole day, we didn't do the volcano trip today. We actually worked to convert the whole presentation to be in Spanish, and then we have Spanish speakers as well, so it'll be quite a treat for everybody. If we could get the screen up so it's larger, otherwise there's going to be difficult. Is that possible from the AV team? Thank you. So, the trip that we just got back from in Geneva was focused on digital transformation. It was a summit that the ITU was having in Geneva on digital transformation. We came in, there was about 1,000 people that attended. It was translated in 6 languages. And we had the keynote, and my team and I did the keynote there on the metaverse for the Sustainable Development Goals. So we had a wonderful time in Geneva. I have some, I'm going to share a few little pictures here of our adventure. Judd mentioned the SDGs. How many of you have heard of the Sustainable Development Goals? Many of you? So this is, a really important framework, strategic framework that the United Nations uses to identify key issues that are facing humanity, and they have a game plan behind each of these, and it's somewhat of the charter of the United Nations. So it's a very important thing. I know when I was the CEO of XPRIZE as a nonprofit, we tried to map our global prize competitions to the SDGs. We announced a competition. We'll get to that later, but we announced this at the UN. We'll fill you in a little bit because it's something we're hoping you will participate in. And then, as you can see, we had a great, wonderful week. Some of the team here had never been outside of the United States, or definitely not to Europe, so it was quite a treat to do some traveling. This is one picture I'm going to highlight because it's fun. When you've got 8 young people on scooters in the Swiss Alps, guess where we were racing to? The chocolate factory, of course, Swiss chocolate. So that was fun. Okay, so we also met at the World Economic Forum. I'm part of the expert network of the World Economic Forum, and I'm doing a blockchain pilot around food supply chains, essentially a model where when you get a restaurant bill, you can tip your waiter, but you can also tip your farmer. And we use blockchain technology to actually give that funding directly to a farmer as a reward for transparency and efficacy around how they supplied your food. So I took the group over to the World Economic Forum, and we're talking to them about doing some work around the metaverse as well. Okay, you guys ready? Because we're excited about some announcements here. Who knows what an NFT is? This group knows NFTs. All of you, kind of exciting. So we've designed an NFT for the Sustainable Development Goals. While supplies last, these things are scarce, right? You know how NFTs work. Limited edition, and This NFT for the SDGs is compatible in a metaverse we're designing for this Sustainable Development Goals. And this metaverse land is going to be very extravagant, as you can imagine, and you're going to be able to pick an avatar and be one of the SDGs as an avatar. And Snoop Dogg, not the rapper from Long Beach, California, but Snoop to the S did the DG dog, has land in this metaverse. And you can be his neighbor, and we're going to give you a deal on this, so hold on a second. And of course, we're going to have crypto. We're going to have a token in this metaverse. So we're bringing this whole thing together, right? We should be excited, right? Because we've all seen the headlines. We're making a special announcement today. We offered this at the ITU, but we're going to extend the offer limited time only to all of you as well. If you buy any real estate while we're here today, you get 20% off, except for the Snoop Dogg, because that's prime real estate. Limited access, because there's only 17 SDGs, so we only have 17 NFTs. Easy and convenient payment options. Any type of fiat we'll take, okay? So, we're excited because you've seen these headlines. You all realize someone just spent $450,000 in a metaverse land to buy Snoop Dogg, the actual rapper's property in that metaverse? Who's seen that news story? That's not a fake headline. That's what's happening. The $24.4 million for the NFT that was sold at Sotheby's, right? This is kind of exciting, right? You guys excited? You guys get a limited time offer. We're going to offer it to you. Is this clear? It's the metaverse. We've all heard of metaverse. So here's the bad news. The bad news is only about 60% of you think I'm joking or know that I'm joking. 30% of you think I'm actually serious, that I'm actually have the nerve to be up here trying to pitch you an NFT around the United Nations SDGs. And the really bad news is about 10% of you are probably going to hunt us down later and actually offer to buy that land next to Snoop Dogg in our metaverse. So I'm trying to make a point here. Obviously, I'm joking. The question is, what are we becoming? Are we this guy? Or this guy, maybe? I feel kind of like this guy. I think I used to play this when I was younger. Did anyone play this game? I think there's NFTs and crypto in there somewhere. Making a point. Here's the point. With all this hype and commercialism around the metaverse and NFTs, it's going to distract us from the real value of this technology to do some really meaningful things. And so what we're here to do is to try to emphasize that this technology, virtual reality, blockchain, NFTs, if applied in the right way, can do some very significant things. And we don't want the narrative to get snowballed by some of that hype that's going on. It has the potential to actually change people's lives if we do the right thing with this technology. A good example, and why my team and I accepted to be here with Judd and the team, is what Delnorte DVT is doing. A good example of a real practical use case, a pragmatic use case for how the technology can be used for good, for something of substance, not some hype. And from our perspective, we've identified some very unique ways to use this technology around the metaverse, specifically to some of these SDGs. I want you just to review some of these statements here, because what we've found in the last 2 years is that the metaverse is essentially a next generation of the internet that we're starting to code. But unlike in 1992, when the internet came about, some of you remember those days, to learn how to be into that new economy with the internet, you had to learn JavaScript or HTML or Python. So certain people couldn't get into that market space. And if we did teach them to code, most of that coding was taught to them 30 years later. It's happening now, 30 years too late. There's an opportunity to upskill and reskill people in low-income and under-resourced communities to be in this profession if we do it now. And that's the focus of our nonprofit, is teach young people or adult learners who are getting automated out of their jobs from AI and robotics to reskill them so they can actually be part of this new economy. And the metaverse, as designers, is a key area that they can play a role in that. And you're going to hear from my team here who's been part of that. So here's some statistics I'm going to share with you before I turn over to my team. The reason we're excited about virtual reality and these technologies, particularly for education and learning, is some of the statistics we saw early on with this efficacy study from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Virtual reality learners, when compared to classroom learners and digital online learners, were 4 times faster to train in virtual reality versus classroom. 275% indicating they have more confidence to act on what they learned. 3.75 times more emotionally connected than their e-learning peers and classroom peers, and then 4 times more focused than e-learning peers. Think about these statistics. This is technology. This report is from 2020. 2 years ago, the technology is a lot better. It's exponentially better, and these were the statistics. Can you think about how transformative virtual reality and metaverse technologies can be for education and learning with these type of statistics? And so we've been looking into this to see if it can work in a public school system of low income and under-resourced. And this can scale. The technology has come down significantly. I don't know who knows the background on the Oculus Quest 2, this headset. Marco, why don't you show them the headset behind you? Who knows the background on Oculus Quest 2, some of the history with this? I'm going to give you a quick recap. This is 2012. This is a 19-year-old college dropout, Palmer Luckey. He's at his parents' house in their garage building this prototype. He went on a Kickstarter, because this was around 2012, 2013, Kickstarter came about. He went on a crowdfunding site, tried to raise money so he could build a prototype of this thing that he put together in his parents' garage. He raised $2.5 million in a few days. He then built an actual prototype of this concept. The story goes that he tracked down Mark Zuckerberg at a party in Silicon Valley and said, Mark, I've got this technology is finally ready. The accelerometer, the tech in it, it's finally come down and cost so much. I think we can mass produce this. Within a year of that discussion, Facebook acquired the intellectual property of not a product, but a prototype from a college dropout. Does anyone know what they paid the 19-year-old college dropout for that prototype? Any guesses? $2 billion. 5 years ago. 19-year-old, $2 billion for this device. There he is on the cover of Time magazine. That was 2015. 2012, I have an idea. 2015, I run a $2 billion company. That product is now $300 US and coming down in price, and way more superior than what you saw a few years ago. And it doesn't stop there. Tim Cook from Apple has indicated that the iPhone will be replaced by the Apple glasses that he's coming out with. Facebook has announced the Ray-Ban glasses. We actually have these here. First generation of the Facebook Ray-Ban glasses. And then, of course, there's new technology. I've tried on Mojo Vision's contact lenses, which is putting this into a lens format. The point is this. We will all be experiencing the internet physically on our physical structures or in virtual worlds. Every brand, every product, every company, every organization. It's just like everyone has a website today, everyone will have a virtual, immersive, and experiential environment. And it will be very transformative, and we're on our way there now. What we've been looking at is how does this apply specifically to things like education, raising people out of poverty, reskilling and upskilling. And so we think there's a lot of potential with this, and this is going to lead to why we've announced this competition in a little bit. So with that said, that's basically all you're going to hear from me tonight. The rest of the discussion is going to be with my team. We had one of our team members, Iris, she couldn't travel out of the US. She doesn't have the papers to travel out of the US because she's in DACA. So she couldn't get out of the US. So we wanted her to be represented because she's a key part of our team. So I'm going to play a video from her first, and hopefully the volume's up so you can hear what Iris had to say. And we translated down at the bottom for you as well.
And I am 19 years old.
You guys get the volume?
Hi, my name is Iris.
Can you hear? You guys can't hear the volume? AV, should I skip this or do you got it? Want to try one more time? It'd be really unfortunate not to hear this.
Hi, my name is Iris
Can you-
Garcia, and I am 19 years old, and I graduated from a public high school in South Central Los Angeles. I am proud to say that I am the first generation to graduate from high school in my family, and now I am the first generation to go on to college. When I was a junior in high school, I had this pressure on me to learn how to code because it was supposedly going to get me a better paying job. And going into this class, I did not know how to code at all. In a program called Python, and I was just completely bamboozled. It was super hard for me. I struggled to get that A. So when I learned coding, it's obviously a very important skill set, but it's just not for everybody. For people who are not technologically advanced like myself. Then coming into this metaverse, it really showed me that I did not need to know how to code in order to be relevant in this new economy. This was like a new no coding, and now I'm working with schools and commercial groups, and I'm thriving in this environment because it turns out that my creative skill set and my storytelling and communication piece finally come all together in this new metaverse. And that, to me, that's like in here because now I am very comfortable knowing that I can attain a great paying job. And most importantly, I have fun creating all these environments with schools and with different people. It really makes me happy. And I can't say that Python made me all that happy to
Kevin.
Hello. Hola a todos. Soy Kevin Vega, tengo 20 años, soy presidente de la división comercial y estudiante universitario de primera generación. Es un placer estar aquí hablando con todos ustedes. En 2015 fue cuando conocí a Márquez. Yo era un estudiante del primer año en la escuela secundaria que adoptó para establecer un programa de aprendimiento para enseñarnos sobre nuevas tecnologías, negocios emergentes. Discutimos el impacto social, potencial y los casos de uso comercial de innovaciones como la inteligencia artificial, la cadena de bloques, la impresión 3D, la robótica y, por supuesto, aprendimos sobre la realidad virtual y el metaverso. Antes se llamaba Spatial Web o Web 3.0. Así fue en 2015 y el espacio del metaverso de la realidad virtual era muy prematuro. Era difícil encontrar casos de uso pragmático y el interés o la demanda de los clientes en el mercado era muy limitado. También era extremadamente costoso para el software y el hardware requerido solo para comenzar. Y había muy pocas opciones. Lo más significativo es que la experiencia en real no era muy realística, incluso te podía provocar náusea. La tecnología ha avanzado muy rápido desde entonces. Realmente comenzamos a observar un importante punto de inflexión en la evolución de la tecnología. El hardware y el software se redujeron drásticamente en precio y la calidad de la experiencia mejoró exponencialmente. Además, COVID aceleró el cambio en la realidad virtual, que antes usaba solo para el consumo, como los juegos, y ahora la tecnología se puede usar para más cosas como educación e iniciativas comerciales. A medida que comenzamos a observar una creciente demanda en el mercado por parte de empresas que quisieron experimentar con estas capacidades. Comencé a seguir a Márquez en algunos proyectos de clientes de consultoría profesional que utilizan VR en todas las industrias. Actualmente están viendo un video de algunos de estos clientes en la pantalla. Inicialmente hice esto para aprender y recibir orientación, pero muy rápidamente comencé a obtener las habilidades necesarias para contribuir e incluso liderar estos proyectos para los clientes. Ahora he sido parte de 25 clientes en este equipo en los últimos 18 meses. Atribuyo esta curva de aprendizaje plana a ser nativo digital ambicioso y cómodo en estas experiencias virtuales. Y realmente lo disfruto. Siento que he aprendido a codificar la próxima generación del Internet. Si yo lo hice, otros también pueden hacerlo. Pero la ventana de oportunidad para capitalizar estas habilidades es ahora. Dicho esto, me gustaría presentar a mi buen amigo y colega Juan, quien les contará una historia personal que yo creo que les resultará muy inspiradora.